Fantastic. So those are the days of the week. And please, I encourage you to memorize them. All right? So,
Yes, mommy.
good. So, moving on, our month of the year from January to December. So, January is pronounced janvier. Can we say that? Janvier.
Janvier.
Good.
Janvier.
Good. February. Good. February is pronounced février. Can we say that?
Février.
Good.
Février.
March is pronounced ma. Can we say that?
Ma.
Good. April is avril. Can we say that?
Avril.
Good. May is May. Can we say that?
Mai.
Good. June is juin. Can we say that?
Juin.
Good. July is juillet. Can we say that?
Juillet.
Good. August is août. Can we say that?
Août.
Good. September is septembre. Can we say that?
Septembre.
Good. You will see that the P is silent. Okay. Septembre. Encore. Again.
Septembre.
Good. October is octobre. Can we say that?
Octobre.
Good. November is November. Can we say that?
Novembre.
Good. And December is December. Can we say that?
December.
Magnifique. So we will now go from January to December. So I will go first to recite all of them. Janvier, février, mars, avril, mai, juin, juillet, août, septembre, octobre, novembre, décembre. Now I want everybody to recite it. 1, 2, ready, and go. Give me January.
Janvier.
Give me February,
Février.
March,
Mars.
April,
Avril.
May,
Mai.
June,
Juin.
July,
Juillet.
August,
Août.
September,
Septembre.
October,
Octobre.
November,
Novembre.
December.
Décembre.
Magnifique. Très bien. All right. So now that you know your months of the year, and imagine someone asks you, what is your date of birth? Quelle est la date de votre naissance? That's how you ask it in French. Quelle est la date de votre naissance? So if you want to answer it, you will say, ma date de naissance est, meaning my date of birth is. So whatever your date of birth is, you're going to say it with that. So in French, when we are mentioning dates, we always put the article, and the article for date is always lo. It's according to the masculine article. Don't worry. Very soon we are going to be doing now, and I will explain what this article means. All right. So you're going to be saying lo, whatever your date of birth is. For example, this is my fake date of birth, le 5 décembre 1970. So meaning 5th of December 1970. That is not my date of birth. That is a fake date of birth that I used. All right, just to protect my information. So I want you to do the same. Try to simulate a fake date of birth just to be able to put dating together in order to tell your date of birth. The reason is that in your TEF exam, you are writing your essay. You are required to date your essay. So it is important for us to know how to write our dating in French. So, shall we take 2 minutes to write our fake date of birth in French, and we will pronounce it in French. So you're going to be writing ma date de naissance est, then you write that date, meaning my date of birth is. So I will ask each of you, quelle est la date de votre naissance? And you will respond to me, ma date de naissance est 12 juillet 2025, and so on and so forth. I want to believe that there is nobody born today that is in the class. All right. So 2 minutes for all of us to write our date of birth using the months of the year that you have learned, Janvier up to December. And if you have finished your own, can you tap the raise hand button? And I will call on you to give us your date of birth.
What button did you say we should tap, please?
The raise hand button. When you check on your screen, you will see reaction. Good. You tap raise hand. Fantastic. Precious has done hers. All right. So, Precious, quelle est la date de votre naissance? Réponds. Ma date de naissance.
De naissance est
Ma date de naissance. Can you repeat? Ma date de naissance est.
ma date de naissance est
Good.
le 10 octobre
Good.
1994.
Good. Très bien. Et vous, Oyiri, quelle est la date de votre naissance, Oyiri?
Ma date de naissance est le 12 mai
Good.
2100.
Good. Très bien. Ireti, quelle est la date de votre naissance?
Ma date de naissance est le 10 décembre
Good.
1841.
Good. Abiodun, quelle est la date de votre naissance?
Ma date de naissance est le 1 novembre 1952.
Très bien. Next person, any other person that wants to tell us her date of birth or his date of birth? Any other person?
Ma date de naissance est
Good, Russia.
22 mai 1960.
Très bien. Damilola, quelle est la date de votre naissance?
Le naissance est le 26 septembre 2012.
Très bien. Precious, quelle est la date de votre naissance? Precious.
Ma date de naissance est le 10 octobre
Good.
1994.
Très bien. Peace, quelle est la date de votre naissance? Peace.
I'm still
Writing. Okay. All right. Osas.
I'll come back.
No problem. Osas, quelle est la date de votre naissance? Ok. David, quelle est la date de votre naissance?
Sorry, I came in a bit late. So,
Okay, pas de souci.
Yes, I'll respond before.
Okay, pas de souci.
over.
All right. So for those of you who joined the class late, you can put your date of birth in the comment section so that we can continue and cover a lot today. All right. Yes, please. Who wants to talk that haven't called?
It's Rachel.
Rachel. All right. Désolé. All right. Answer. Quelle est la date de votre naissance?
Ok, ma date de naissance est le 22 septembre
Good.
1990.
Très bien. All right. Fantastic. So, for the rest, please put your date of birth in French on the chat box. All right. So, if you're able to tell the date of birth, today's date will be what? So, I want to, in telling me today's date, I want you to tell me the day. You will say the number, but you will say the day first in French. Then you say the number. Then you say the month. Then you say the year. So let's go. So the question would be, quelle est la date d'aujourd'hui? Aujourd'hui means today. So what is the date of today? In French, you will be asked, quelle est la date d'aujourd'hui? So in your response, you will say, la date d'aujourd'hui est, then give me today's date. So what is today's date, class? Quelle est la date d'aujourd'hui? Répondez en français. This is what you will say. Then you put today's date.
Jeudi est samedi.
Good. Le samedi.
Le 11.
No, no, Le samedi 12 juillet, juillet, 2025. 2025. 25. Exactement. 2025. C'est ça. All right. La date d'aujourd'hui est le samedi 12 juillet 2025. All right. So there are certain words, terminologies that are associated with timing and date. So we have calendar. So calendar, as you know it in English, in French is called le calendre. Today is called aujourd'hui. Okay, this is the pronunciation direction. Can we pronounce this aujourd'hui? Can we pronounce this? Good. 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 Aujourd'hui. So aujourd'hui means today. All right. Yesterday is pronounced yeah. Can we say that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
That is the pronunciation for yesterday. And tomorrow is demain. Can we say that? Good. Good. Day before yesterday, we. So day before yesterday is avant-hier. Can we say that? Good. So if yesterday was, what is yesterday in French? What is that day in French? In French. No. What is that day called? Is it, what is that day called? What is yesterday? Good, vendredi. So good. So what is avant-hier?
Day before yesterday.
Which is in French? Jeudi. Fantastic. Fantastic. All right. That's what I wanted to get. All right. Now, there is another aspect of the learning that is also very important for us to know, what we call time period expression in French. And this is very critical for you to know, because in your TEF or TCF exam, you never can tell how this can pop up. I will give you a typical example. There was a past TEF question, past TEF exam, where the question was, it was in writing. The question goes this way. I'm just kind of trying to abridge it. So it says that a young girl went out with her friends to a pizzeria, a pizza shop, and she woke up the next day with her face turned blue. So it was written in French that le lendemain was when she woke up with her face turned blue. Imagine what followed suit. Okay? So what that means is that the examiner wants to be sure that the candidate understands the meaning of le lendemain. So you must prove it in your writing that you indeed understand the meaning of le lendemain while trying to answer that question. So let me give you a typical example of how to respond to that question. I will go to the side note. So the question says that a young girl went to the pizzeria with some friends, and she woke up the next day with her face turned into blue. Imagine what followed suit. And in this expression of time, le lendemain is the next day of an established event in the past, as an event that had occurred in the past. Okay? If you're talking about that event today, the next day of that past event is what we call le lendemain, the next day of a past event. So I will use an instance. So let's assume that my birthday was 5th of April. 5th April was my birthday, my fake birthday, okay? Was 5th of April. And I am trying to tell you or talk to you about how I spent my birthday that occurred on the 5th of April. So let's say the next day post my birthday, that is the next day after my birthday, 6th of April. So let's assume that maybe some friends organized a surprise party for me. And I'm trying to tell you the activities leading up to my birthday and post my birthday, or even that my birthday. So on the 6th of April, let's say surprise party by friends. And let's say a day before that birthday, 4th of April. So let's say my husband gave me his credit card to go on shopping spree. Okay? Anything you like, buy. And on the 5th was my birthday. My colleagues at work celebrated with me. If I am trying to talk to you about this event today, I have told you, maybe someone asked me, maybe David asked me, oh, Madam Ugo, how did you spend your birthday 5th of April? I learned your birthday was 5th of April. And I said, yes, my birthday was 5th of April. And I want to start talking to you about this birthday that happened on the 5th of April. And if I don't want to mention those dates, I could use these expressions of time periods to talk about my birthday. So in French, that my birthday, which is the main event, is called le jour. Okay? Le jour. That's what it's called. There is accent on this A. Grave, accent grave. Let me put it. So this is called le jour, the main day of that event, le jour, okay? While we have what we call la veille. La veille is the day before that main event, okay? Please note, la veille can also mean old woman, okay? But in this context, we are using it for expression of time, okay? Then why your 6th of April, you then become le lendemain. So let's assume that this was a tough question where the exam question says that this young lady went to the restaurant with her friends and she woke up the next day with her face turned blue. Imagine what followed suit. So you are expected to write a story around that event. Not just for you to write a story. Regardless of how beautiful your story may sound, you need to demonstrate to the examiner that you understand the meaning of le lendemain while writing that story. So here is how you can go about it. You must establish the day that that event occurred. So let's assume that this lady went to the pizzeria on a Saturday. On a Saturday. So you must write that she went out with her friends on that Saturday. Then you will not continue to say that maybe in the middle of the night or in the middle of the day but of course, this you're writing it in French. Now, if the day she went to take the pizza or the day she ate the pizza with her friends was on a Saturday, what will le lendemain be? What are you going to write here to show the examiner that you understand the meaning of le lendemain? What would that be?
Monday.
Good. Monday. Fantastic. So you must include lundi or le lundi in your story in order for you to indicate to the examiner that you understand the meaning of le lendemain. This is why some students write their TEF exam. In their writing, they score B1. Some they score weak B2. Of course, B2 is the minimum expected pass mark. Anything below B2 is fail. Not that it is failure as an F, but it is not enough to give you the desired mark. And in fact, when you come to even the B2, there are two B2s. There is lower B2, lower band B2, and higher band B2. So this is the distinguishing factor. Those who score high and those who score poorly. You might have written, with very good grammatical construction, but you are not able to draw out that main point that the examiner is looking for in that question by demonstrating full knowledge of le lendemain in your answer to the AC. Okay, so this is a typical example of how you can see this in exam. So I'm just kind of trying to highlight why we are doing what we are doing. And it can come in any form. It could also come in an audio where they have established a day or a date and they use le lendemain or la veille. You are going to draw your answer inference from that main event mentioned and be able to decipher what the correct answer is. You can also even see it in reading and so on and so forth. All right, so that's pretty much that. When we get to our B2 level, we will still revisit this topic and treat it in further detail. Yes, I will take questions in 3 minutes. Okay, let's continue. All right, the next is.
Excuse me.
Yeah, in 3 minutes, I will take questions.
Just explain.
Pardon me?
What to just explain now?
Yes.
It's the main day was Friday, Saturday, right?
No. In which one are you talking about? The girl that went to the pizzeria? Yes. Yes.
And the next day, I think le lendemain is the next day after. Am I right?
Yes, the next day. The next day.
Sunday.
Yes, sorry, it's Sunday. Thank you.
That's what I was going to say.
Sorry, it's Sunday. Thank you. It's Sunday, please, not Monday. It's Sunday, please. This Monday is le lendemain. Thank you for that correction. So if that event happened on a Saturday, so in the middle of the day on Sunday is your le lendemain, okay? In fact, we even have one we call le lendemain, which is Sunday. Sunday is sur lendemain, okay? Thank you for noting that, all right? Sur lendemain, all right. So the next thing we are going to be looking at is day after tomorrow. So day after tomorrow is called après-demain. So if you want to do something like in 3 days, in 4 days, in 5 days, the number that you know is still what you're going to bring into play here. In 3 days, don't try jour. In 10 days, 10 jours. But there is something I want to point out here. 2 weeks, please note. In your TEF exam or TCF exam, 2 weeks, even though we know that 2 weeks in English, we translate it to mean 14 days. But French do not see 2 weeks as 14 days. They count it as 15 days. Okay? So here are the synonyms for 2 weeks in French. 15 jours or 2 semaines. Okay? So if you want to express 2 weeks, you are either saying 15 jours or you are saying 2 semaines. You can hear an audio of a story being recounted and they tell you that that event is going to happen in 2 weeks. You will hear 2 semaines in the audio. Then they will come to the answer option. They might even present to you 14 jours. Please don't go and take 14 jours because you know that 14 is 14 and you use the same interpretation that English people would use for 2 weeks to mean 14 days. No, French understand their own 2 weeks to mean 15 jours, okay? See it as the name instead of trying to be logical about 2 weeks. So in your TCF or TEF exam, you mention 2 weeks or describe 2 weeks as either 15 jours or 2 semaines. All right. A day, of course, un jour. Morning, le matin. Afternoon, l'après-midi. Evening, le soir. Night, la nuit. Weekend, le weekend. So these are some of those words that are associated with time period that you come across. Then the next part is salutation, greeting. So when it comes to greeting in French, recall that I had mentioned at the beginning that French has rules. It respects number, it respects relationship, it respects even environment, okay, where you are making that conversation, even gender, so on and so forth. But we are going to see how salutation, that is greeting, in formal and informal environment play out in French. So our formal greeting in French, bonjour. Please note, bonjour can also be informal. So I will turn bonjour to most likely be neutral. All right. So French will usually use bonjour for neutral occasions or formal occasions. But salut is typically informal. In exam environment, you will never see salut used in a formal conversation. So salut is always informal, all right? While bonjour is formal. Now, you want to ask question of how are you? In English, we will say, how are you? In French, when they want to ask how are you, it's literally like they are saying, how are you going? They use the verb to go, which is called aller. So that is why in French, when they want to ask how are you, they will say, comment vous allez? Which means, how are you going, literally. But in their mind, they are saying, how are you? Okay? So when you say, comment vous allez? Or you say, comment allez-vous? They are the same thing. It's like you are inversing it. Okay? So whether you say comment vous allez or comment allez-vous, it doesn't matter. Just know that vous means you. And this is the you use for formal occasions. You're in a formal environment or you're talking to more than one person. Okay? So it is that same vous here. And this is the verb to go when you conjugate it. All right? So this is how you respond. You say je vais bien, which means I am fine. But French will say I go fine as their own response. All right? But in their mind, they understand it to mean I am fine. All right? And that is because it is the verb to go that they use. And in the first person subject pronoun, I go is je vais. All right. Very soon we are going to be doing verb conjugation. So don't worry yourself so much about this. When we get to verb conjugation, you will understand this better. So if you are talking to one person or in an informal environment, you will say comment tu vas or you say comment vas-tu. Tu is you, informal, or when you're talking to one person. The response is also the same thing. Je vais bien. Merci. Merci is if you want to be polite, you put politesse, which is thanks. Now, here is where some students get it wrong. So you can be, this might come out in your reading, comprehension écrite. So where you might see something like this, that two people are greeting. So the two people greeting could be friends. That what will be the response if Mr. A greeted Mr. B in such a manner? Comment ça va? Comment ça va is also informal salutation. It is not formal, okay? Now, when the greeting is comment ça va, don't respond with je vais bien. Comment ça va bien, okay? Comment vous allez, je vais bien. Comment tu vas, je vais bien. Comment ça va bien. So even though ça va bien could be literally understood to mean I am fine, but don't use it wrongly. So it is the way the question is asked should be the way you respond. All right?
Please, excuse me, are you reading from the screen or you're just saying?
It is on your screen. It is on your screen. It is on your screen.
Okay.
All right. So if you want to say goodbye, goodbye is au revoir. Okay? Au revoir. You greet goodbye. Farewell, adieu. You normally use this when you are not seeing the person in a long while. All right? Or maybe dead, or maybe somebody is relocating and you may not see again. Then see you soon, à bientôt. Okay? See you tomorrow, à demain. That's see you tomorrow or see tomorrow. So you want to say see you later, you will say à tout à l'heure. This is the pronunciation direction, à tout à l'heure. Okay? Some people will also say à plus tard, which also means see later. Okay? Then you want to say welcome, you will say bienvenue. You want to say good luck, you say bonne chance. And you use this maybe when someone is going to write an exam, when someone is having like a medical procedure being done and you want to wish the person well. Then good night is bonne nuit. Okay, then good evening is bonsoir or bonsoiré, any of those. Then good afternoon is bon après-midi. Now, there is another part. So I'm sure that a lot of you that engage me on WhatsApp, you might sometimes see me say things like Dorien, avec plaisir, and so on and so forth. Maybe when you ask me questions and I try to explain to you on WhatsApp and you tell me, oh, Madam Ugo, thank you very much. I now understand it. I will say Dorien in some instances. Some people I will write avec plaisir. All right. So the way we say in English, you're welcome. French, we either use Dorien. Dorien is a little bit more informal. Why avec plaisir is very formal, okay? But they both aim at achieving the same thing. Now, the full expression, if you want to say you are welcome, is je vous en prie. It also means you are welcome. All of those expressions, you use them when maybe someone has done a favor and the person is thanking you and you want to humbly recognize that thanks. These are those expressions that you use. De rien, avec plaisir, or je vous en prie. If the relationship is formal, if it is informal, you will say je t'en prie. Okay? Then the next one is enchanté. Now that you are beginning to learn your French, you might want to maybe go to an environment or a place where people are speaking French and you try to demonstrate that, oh, you also know how to speak little French. Somebody might want to introduce you to say, oh, meet my friend Rebecca. She also knows how to speak French. The person says, nice to meet you. So you will mostly hear someone say enchanté. Enchanté is like saying nice to meet you. The full expression is enchanté de votre connaissance, meaning nice to the knowledge of you. That is the true interpretation. But what happens mostly in real life situations is that French people will use the short form. They will just say enchanté. Okay? All right. So when someone tells you enchanté, you just say back enchanté. It's okay like that. Unless you want to say the full thing, you can still say enchanté de votre connaissance. It's our own version of nice to meet you. Okay? Or nice to know you. Of course, merci, we already know it as thanks. Now, this came from the verb to thank. To thank itself is a verb called remercier. Okay? When you conjugate that, which you are going to come to later, you want to say thank you. The full expression of thank you in French is je vous remercie. Okay? If it is formal. If it is informal, you say je te remercie, which is also thank you. All right? But the informal one. Then thanks very much. Merci beaucoup. Okay? Now, there is another salutation that I put here, which is an informal salutation. And this was what I used during my exam. So, you know the how are you that we said and the rest of them. When you are talking with a friend, the way you communicate with your friend, depending on the kind of closeness that you share, is always a little bit different. So our own English version of what's up in French is called quoi de neuf. So during my own TEF in my expression orale, that is in the speaking part of the exam, when I did my role play with the examiner, because in your TEF exam, in your speaking section B, you are going to have an informal conversation with the examiner where you are trying to convince the examiner to do something. It is always like that, all right? So it depends on the topic that is given, but it is always convince the examiner who is going to play the role of your friend to do something. So I started the role play. Of course, you can't just jump in and start doing the role play. You will have to start by pretending as though the examiner is your friend. And how do you relate with your friend when you are meeting? You say, hey, Titi, what's going? Or what's up? Things like that. You won't say, hey, Titi, how are you? I hope you're doing very well today. That sounds too official. So if you're speaking with your friend Titi, you're most likely going to say, hey, Titi, what's up? What's new? What's going on? Things like that. So I used quoi de neuf. I didn't use bonjour or any of those salut. All right. So you can also borrow that if it works for you. So have a nice day. If you want to greet somebody to have a nice day, you say bonne journée. Okay? So here are other general conversations. Yes is oui. No is non in French. This is the way it's pronounced. Non. All right? Excuse me, excusez-moi, or you say excuse-moi, depending on whether you are speaking in formal or informal. This is formal, excusez-moi. You will understand this better when we treat the topic under what we call imperative, okay? Why the informal is excuse-moi, okay? Which is the same thing as excuse me. So you can use this informal environment. All right. Tompi, never mind. So take, for example, you are saying something and maybe I say, what did you say again? You've changed your mind. You want to say never mind. You say tompi. All right. Please, the official please in French is literally like saying if it pleases you. That's the full meaning of s'il vous plaît. Okay? So s'il vous plaît means if it pleases you, but that's the expression we use when we want to say please. All right? So this is for formal. S'il te plaît, if it is informal. I am sorry, je suis désolé. Okay? So you want to say, what is your name in French? That's the next part. So the verb to answer one's name is called s'appeler. Okay? We are also going to treat this in further details when we start doing verb conjugation, especially under reflexive verb. It is known as a reflexive verb. Reflexive verbs are those verbs where the subject and the object are same, meaning the person who is performing the action and the person who the action is affecting or exacting upon are same. All right? So it is the verb s'appeler. So you want to say, what is your name? What is your name in French? Literally, it's like saying, how do you answer your name yourself? So that's why you see two vous here. Comment vous vous appelez? So the full meaning is, how do you answer your name by yourself? And you respond and say, je m'appelle Madame Hugo, meaning I answer by myself, Madame Hugo, which is the same thing as I answer Madame Hugo. Nobody answers Madame Hugo with me. I answer it by myself. So you understand this better when we start treating verb conjugation for reflexive verb. So for now, know it on the surface level that when you want to say, what is your name? You say, comment vous vous appelez, if it is formal, or comment tu t'appelles, if it is informal, okay? And the response is same, je m'appelle, whatever that thing is. All right. So somebody will say, what is the big deal about salutation? So here are scenarios that are presented to check what we have done earlier. So you have two people who meet each other. They could be friends. Maybe one is older and is trying to pay respect, or they are colleagues or whatever. But if John greets Peter with comment vous allez, these options given, what do you think Peter should answer? Peter is the same thing as Pierre in French. Is it number one, number two, number three, or number four? What do you think? Good, je vais bien, which is number two. Fantastic. This is the answer, je vais bien. All right. Look at this other one. Two colleagues, John and Peter, they met. What would be their what will be the question from John if Peter's answer is je vais bien? What will be John's question? Is it comment vous allez? Is it comment tu vas? Good, fantastic. Now, look at this one between Lara and Luna. If Luna greets Lara, comment tu vas? What should be the response of Lara?
Ça va bien.
No, comment tu vas? Comment tu vas? Je vais bien. Good, fantastic. It is this one. Je vais bien. All right. Look at this one. Comment vous marchez? By John. What do you think Peter should respond? Is it ça va bien? Je vais bien? Je me marche bien? Je me porte bien?
Je me marche bien.
Good. Je me marche bien. All right. Look at this one. Claire and Pierre. Okay. Now they had a little date at the cinema and they want to meet again the next week. What would be their greeting at the end of the day? They want to meet again. Claire and Peter.
Abiento.
Good. Abiento. All right. Now, the next part is weather. So here are the popular weather you are going to be meeting in the exam. So we have here spring. So spring in French is called le printemps. Can we say that? Le printemps.
Le printemps.
Good. So this is the pronunciation direction that I have provided here, okay? Summer in French is known as l'été or la grande vacances. Can we say that? L'été. Exactement, la grande vacances. Good. Now, who can tell me what is the meaning of this accent? Is this graph or acute? Good, fantastic. So you can say that this is acute accent or l'accent aigu, the one that sounds l'été, okay? And we have la grande vacances. And you might be wondering, why is summer called la grande vacances? Of course, grande in French means big. Usually, the summer season is a period that a lot of people go on vacations. People take longer leave periods during that time, okay? And grande means big. So that is where summer got its name from, as La Grande Vacances. So you might see it in your TEF exam come up this way. They can write a story or an event and they tell you that this event is going to happen during the summer, okay? You might hear in the audio La Grande Vacances, but the answer options presented, they might ask you a question to say, when did the speaker say this exam was going to start? They might write during the winter, during Christmas, l'été. So when you see l'été, please, that should be your answer option if La Grande Vacances had been mentioned in the audio. Or if l'été was mentioned, your answer option should be La Grande Vacances. And you have winter, l'hiver. Can we say that? L'hiver.
L'hiver.
Good. 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 L'hiver. If you're saying it to the article, l'hiver. If you're saying it alone, l'hiver. Okay? So, yes. All right. So we have autumn, l'automne. Wait, that is the autumn. So if you want to ask to say, how is the weather doing in French? So the question will be, quel temps fait-il? Okay? Quel temps fait-il? Meaning, what is the weather doing? That's the literal meaning. But in a French person's mind, what they're asking you is, what is the weather situation? What is the weather like? So if the weather is hot, you will say, il fait chaud. Can we say that? Good. So this is like what you're saying. Il fait chaud. Okay? So if the weather is cold, you will say, il fait froid. Can we say that? Good. Il fait froid. Froid means cold. Okay? All right. If it is raining, you will say il pleut. Can you say that? Good. 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 Il pleut can also mean he is crying. I hope you know. The verb to cry means pleuvoir. That's where this came from. Okay? So when you say il pleut can mean he is crying. It can also mean it is raining. So it depends on the context in which it's being used. All right. So when it is snowing, now the verb to snow is neiger. So this has been conjugated, il neige. So it means it is snowing. Okay? This is the pronunciation direction here. So when the weather is beautiful, yes, you will say il fait beau. Can we say that?
Il fait beau.
Good. When the weather is bad, you will say il fait mauvais. Can we say that?
Il fait mauvais.
Good. And when the weather is windy, you will say il y a du vent. Can we say that? Good. Good. And when the weather is sunny, you will say il y a du soleil. Can we say that? Très bien. By the way, le soleil means sun. Okay? All right. And when the weather is stormy, they will say il y a de l'orage. Can we say that?
All right.
Très bien. So there is an assignment I'm going to give us. I will send an image to our group chat much later, so that we can save time and jump quickly to our main topic of today, which is nouns. So the main business has started, but I want to explain something to us here. So what is the first about weather? You can also encounter weather in your TEF exam, in fact, even in TCF exam. It might be that the exam can come in this context where they are mentioning a weather forecaster trying to tell how the weather is going to be during the week. And they will ask you, based on what you hear in the audio, select the answers of the different weather that the weather forecaster is talking about. So if you hear things like Ilia Duvon, you might see a picture of something depicting that windy weather condition. Okay, I am going to send a pictorial diagram on our group chat, and you're going to use that to tell me what you think each of those pictures will mean. All right, having said all of this, welcome to the real lesson one. So, we start with our real lesson one. So everything we have been doing all this while, they were all preambles. Now is the real lesson one. And our lesson one starts with the topic on nouns. Beautiful. So in our English, we define noun as a name of a person, animal, place, or thing. I'm sure that if I ask everybody here to tell me what is a noun, everybody will chorus the same answer. A noun is a name of a person, animal, place, or thing. Good. That is fine. That is fantastic. But I will add extra layer to my definition of noun just to help you. So I'm going to my side note now. So subsequently, everything I'm going to write is going to be here, okay? Everything I'm explaining is already in your note, but this is a step further. So this is our lesson one on noun. So we said that a noun is a name of a person. A noun is a name of a person, animal, place, or thing. Beyond this, a noun can also be defined as a word that can be described by an adjective. Do you agree with me? Good. So, a word that can be described by an adjective is a noun. And I'm going to give you an instance why I am putting this other definition. A lot of the time, students forget that when you say things like this, impact, do you know that impact is a noun? It can be an abstract noun because you can't, it's like an intangible noun, you can't touch it. It's an abstract noun. Things like this, impact, effort, harassment, abuse, and so on and so forth. These are all nouns. Okay? You can say, he made a huge impact in my life. Huge is an adjective describing what? Impact. Are we together? Tout le monde, est-ce que nous sommes ensemble? Are we together?
Oui, madame.
Good.
Yes.
So, effort. You can say that he makes the least effort. Least is an adjective describing the type of effort that he makes. Harassment, embarrassment. Okay? Nasty embarrassment. Serious harassment. Serious is adjective describing the level of harassment. Mental abuse. Mental is the adjective describing the type of abuse, physical abuse, and so on and so forth. So do not limit your knowledge of noun on name of a person, animal, place, or thing. All right. In French and in English, there is a difference in how we treat our nouns. And the reason is that in French, all nouns have genders in French. All nouns have gender in French. And the gender is either feminine or masculine gender. Okay? We will start with the simplest ones. So, the simplest ones is that every noun associated with the masculine gender, all nouns associated with the masculine gender are masculine in French. What do we mean by this? So we have father, okay? Father, we have uncle, we have boy, we have king, we have prince, and so on and so forth. Let me stop here. Then you go to feminine side of things. All nouns associated with the feminine gender are feminine. Okay? So we have mother, we have auntie or aunt, we have girl, we have queen, and we have princess. The next part I want to go to is, why is it important that we must know the genders of our nouns in French? Why? Why is it important to know the genders of nouns in French? It is important to know the gender of our nouns in French because it helps you in making correct grammatical expression with everything associated with that noun. What do I mean by this? If, for example, you want to use what we call definite article, so that will take me to the next thing that I want to talk about, articles in French. So article, simply put, is your the or your a or an. Okay? These are called articles. So they are words that you use in qualifying a noun. So in French, we have what we call definite article, or it can be called l'article défini. So under your definite article is called the, which can mean low. This is the one you use when your noun is a masculine gendered noun, low. And this is the one you use when your noun is a feminine gendered noun. And this is the one you use, L apostrophe, when your noun is either masculine or feminine noun with its first letter. Of course, its first letter in French. as a vowel. Okay? That's the one you use. They all mean they. Now, going further to help you with the understanding of the meaning of a definite article. If, for example, I tell you, buy a dress for me, and I tell you, buy the dress for me, what is the difference between the dress and a dress? Who can tell me? The dress, a dress.
A dress is definite. A
Okay.
dress can be any dress in general.
Fantastic. So when I say buy me the dress, it means there is a particular dress that I'm talking about. So it's possible that I might have talked to you about that dress and I say, buy me the dress or buy me the car. So you know that there is a particular something that I'm talking about. So that's where it got its name from, definite article. So when you see us use lo, la, L apostrophe, this is where we got that from. Okay? It means the in French. And in French, most of the times when you are making your expression, your noun cannot stand alone. They mostly will either go with either your definite article or indefinite article, or you're using possessive adjective, demonstrative adjective, and so on and so forth with your noun. You don't just say, buy me the dress or buy the dress for me, and you just write it as only dress without putting that D. It must be there. Okay? So while your indefinite article is a, okay, so indefinite article is called l'article indéfini. So this is your a or an. And in French, for the masculine one, un livre, a book. Okay? So this is the one you use for masculine noun. Then we also have the one we use for feminine noun, un, for feminine noun. All right? So,
sorry to cut you short, but this indicates one too, right?
yes, it's the same thing as one.
If you now see it in an article, how do you now differentiate it?
Okay, so if I tell you, for example, to say, buy one dress for me, and I tell you, buy a dress for me, is there any difference between the two expressions?
No.
Exactly. So they mean the same thing. Okay? So buy a dress for me, buy one dress for me. C'est la même chose. It's the same thing. Is it clear now? So it depends on what you mean. It is only in English that we will see it as, okay, they are written differently. In French, they are written exactly the same thing. Buy one dress for me. Buy a dress for me. Same in French. Does that answer your question? All right. So let's continue. So coming back to these nouns that we have written here. So if we want to say father, what do you think we are going to use for father? Is it lo, la, or L apostrophe? Le père. Good. Good. You can see that when we did accent, and father has an accent. It has an accent on it. So it has accent grave. Okay? So we are going to put it. So that's why all those things I was writing then when we did our accent, that people saw me write low, la, and so on and so forth. This is where it came from. So now you have full grasp of it. Okay? Uncle is oncle in French. So this is L apostrophe, l'oncle. Okay? Boy, who remembers what we call boy in French? Le what? Le garçon. Good. Exactement. And the C has cedilla on the bottom. Okay. Then the next one is king. King in French is called le roi. Okay. Prince in French is same in English, le prince. All right. So this means father or the father, uncle or the uncle, boy or the boy, king or the king, prince or the prince. All right. Why for this part? Mother will be what? La what?
La mère.
La mère. Thank you. La mère. Can we pronounce that again? La mère. Good. La mère. All right. So what do you think? Wait, what do you think brother will be? Le père. Sorry, le frère. Oui, le frère. Oui. All right. So auntie is la tante.
La tante.
Oui. Girl is la fille. Good. Queen is la reine. Okay? La reine, oui. Why princess is la princess. Okay? So all of this are the masculine and feminine nouns that we have in French, and so on and so forth. Now, the next part I want to emphasize on is it is important that when you are learning your nouns in French, please ensure that you learn them with their gender. Don't just know book to mean live. No, you must know it as lo live. That way, it helps you to understand the gender of your book and have it engraved in your memory that book is indeed a masculine gendered noun. And that will take me to the assignment that I'm going to be giving to each and every one of you today. If you want to pass your exam in one attempt, and if you want to expand your vocabulary base, it is important that you learn from today, be intentional about your nouns. So you have your hands filled with a lot of tasks today. You will learn 50 things in your home, 50 things in your environment, and 50 things in your office. These are the things that are going to help you in your TEF exam. And the reason I say this is that the exam is centered around all of these things. There is no question that comes in that exam, whether it is TEF or TCF that you're writing, that is outside of your environment, in your office, or in your home. So when you get into your home, starting from your gate, you ask yourself, what is gate called in French? And what is its gender? What is your front pouch called? And what is its gender? Corridor, what is the name in French? And what is its gender? Your sitting room, what is it called? Your sofa, what is it called? Your dining table, what is it called? Your fan, your air conditioner, your carpet, what is it called? Your curtains, what is it called? Your chandelier, what is it called? Your light, what is it called in French? Your chairs, what are they called in French? Then you move to your kitchen. Every and anything inside your kitchen, what are they called? You open your refrigerator, including that refrigerator, what is its name in French? The things you can find in your refrigerator, what are they called? You move to your bedroom. Even the name bedroom, what is it called in French? Right? So this is an assignment you're going to do. I will put it here. All right. So let us try to identify some common nouns that you might find in your exam. I love using a table to write my nouns. Okay, so these are the nouns. Okay, and we are going to find their meanings. So we have here bed, We have here bedroom. We have here table. We have here book. We have here car. We have here house. We have here library. We have here bookshop. And we have here supermarket. And we have here zoo. So I will stop here. Zoo. So I want us to find the meaning. I want us to find the meaning of these nouns. So we are going to stop here. So we're going to find the meaning of these nouns. So I want everybody to use your Lola app and find the meaning of this noun. So if you haven't downloaded your Lola app, please download it and let's put it into good use now.